Hello, welcome back to the Boardgames4K YouTube channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings. We generally like to talk a lot of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general, and in this video we're going to be talking about a deck building game that's got a unique theme. We're going to be talking about Subatomic, and in this game you'll be playing quarks from your hand, not the dairy product or whatever, in order to gain better cards like neutrons and protons into your hand, which will then allow you to play cards that will allow you to claim elements that will give you victory points that will allow you to win the game. So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules, telling you what we do like, don't like, and then we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Subatomic is worth your time and energy today and in the future. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below. We'll see you after this. Boardgames4K. So, Subatomic, how'd you play this game? So Subatomic is basically a deck building game at heart. After a very protracted setup, it's got, how many steps has the setup got? 11 steps to the setup. After you've trawled through the setup, then you will end up with a starter hand which consists of several up quarks and several down quarks. You will have some elements that you'll be trying to claim on the actual player board itself. You'll have some scientists that will help you with some game breaking special abilities. You'll have some single subatomic cards, and then you'll have some larger subatomic cards where you'll be using your quarks to buy these cards to basically embellish your deck with better stuff that will then allow you to claim the element cards, right? So this game will consist of two phases. You'll have the phase where you'll be playing cards from your hand, and then you'll have phase two where you do a little bit of a refresh. So in the first phase you'll be playing cards from your hand to take different actions, and there's 4 different actions that you can take in this game. You could build up your atom to claim an element card. Basically what this consists of is you'll be playing cards to move your marker up different tracks that will then translate into the cost requirement of buying an element card. And you'll see on the bottom right hand side of the element card is the cost that you will need to build up on your tracks, right, to pay to claim the element card. You can claim an element card to score points, and what you do, you'll pay the cost, and then you'll take the element card, and then you'll take 2 of your goal markers and you'll place them on one of the goal tracks that isn't the same as the card that you have claimed, right? And if there is a bonus marker, then you'll be able to take that and you'll be able to use that either immediately or on a subsequent turn. So the next action you could do is you could buy deck building cards to make your deck a little bit stronger, and you'll see that there's 2 different options here. You've got the single subatomic particles that you can buy, and then you've got the larger subatomic particles you can buy, and again you'll pay the cost in quarks or maybe neutrons or protons, and you'll take the card and then you'll refresh the line and everything will shift down and become cheaper. So when you play cards, you've got the option of playing them face up. That means you'll take the generic action, and you can play them face down. In this way you'll be able to claim energy tokens, right? And you can also just play a card face down to claim 1 energy token for each card you play face down, right? So you can use energy tokens either as a requirement for the card that you want to buy or the element you want to claim, or energy can be used for different things. You can pay an energy to swipe any row. You can pay an energy to remove all cards from one row of a single subatomic, larger subatomic or element cards, and replace all cards in that row with new cards from the respective deck. You can pay 2 energy to draw an extra card. You can spend energy to annihilate 2 cards, and you'll look at the annihilation track and pay the cost and then move the marker 1 space to the right. So it gets more expensive to annihilate cards the more this action's taken. So you'll keep doing this, you'll keep buying cards, you'll keep trying to claim elements until one player has placed their last 2 goal markers, and then you'll do a bit of final scoring. You'll be able to get points from the element cards that you claim during the game. You'll look at whoever's got the majority of goal markers on the goal spaces. Whoever's got the most will get the higher number, and whoever's got the second most will get the lower number, and whoever's got the most victory points at the end of the game will be the winner of Subatomic. So what do we like about Subatomic? So the first thing that we really like about Subatomic is it's once you've digested the rule book, it's kind of easy to get your head around the mechanics, because we've seen all this before. It's basically Dominion that with a reskin. So if you played Dominion, Marvel Legendary, Arctic Scavengers, or any of the plethora of deck builders out there, then you're going to be right at home with this one, because they're really, aside from a couple of little nuances like the scientist cards, really is not that much to differentiate Subatomic between those other games, and that's good and it's sort of bad, but we'll talk about that in a sec. So the second thing that we like about Subatomic is that there's 3 points of focus in this game. You've got your player board where you'll be moving the marker up on the tracks to buy cards. Then you've got the cards that you're going to buy to make your deck more powerful, that will allow you to claim those element cards. And then finally you've got the scientists that are going to inject a little bit of an unknown quantity into the game. So all these 3 things are interchangeable, they all work well together, and the game forces you to focus on just one thing too many all the time. I mean, do you concentrate on getting your hand more powerful first, or do you try and get that scientist that's going to allow you to more quickly build your hand up, or are you just going to jump straight in to try and get those goals as quickly as possible? So the fact that the game forces you to juggle these 3 elements together is pretty good. So the next thing that we really like about Subatomic is that this game is actually really well researched. I mean, the game comes with a little booklet telling you about the science behind the game, and at the back of the book it says it's got writing, editing and reviews by all these different people with PhDs behind their name. So the fact that you can actually delve into this and have a look and see what all this stuff means on the table is really excellent, especially for kids. So the final thing that we really like about Subatomic is that the scientist cards really open the game up. If they weren't there, it would just be a very dull, boring, generic deck builder. But the fact that they've put in these game-breaking special abilities really does give you more options to mess about with the rules. So you might end up with Albert Einstein, and he says, before you play any card this turn, pay up to 3 energy and add the same number of subatomic particles to your atom, and then all other players may pay 1 energy or 1 particle. Or you might have Marie Curie, and she allows you to look at another player's hand and mimic any 2 of their subatomic cards, and then all other players may discard 1 card and draw 1 new card. Or you might have Maria Mayer, and she allows you to mimic any 2 single subatomic cards, any 1 larger subatomic card from the face-up selection below the board. So we're really thankful that they actually included these scientists. It's something that really does add a point of interest to the game, and it really does allow you to sort of break the rules up a little bit and sort of veer away from the generic nature of this one. What don't we like about Subatomic? So the first thing that we don't like about Subatomic is that whilst we said that the fact that the deck building element, whilst it's generic, is a good thing because you know where you are with this one, it's also a con because it's a tired and outdated formula. I mean, if you've got Dominion and you've got Marvel Legendary, really is there any reason to go out and get this? Probably not. And if you don't have Dominion or Marvel Legendary, then why haven't you got that? Why would you buy this over those games, you know? So this is more of an educational type of game, I guess. So I suppose there is that. It just feels as if they've lifted the deck building mechanism straight out of Dominion, and it's been wrapped in this scientific theme, and it's just a shame that there's no real original mechanisms in this one. So the next thing that we don't like about Subatomic is that the rulebook is unnecessarily bloated for a game of this simplicity. I mean, when we first set this up, our eyebrows started to raise as soon as we saw the amount of steps to the setup. I mean, it's not that complicated. I mean, they go into far too much detail with regards to the different actions that you're going to be playing. And the way that the rulebook is organised, I mean, it would have been better had they had little diagrams or little pictures of the components that they're talking about when they're explaining how to use them. We kept on finding that we had to go back, look at the component listing, and try and find the page that we were looking at, and we kept on flicking backwards and forwards. It would have just been nice to have had a little circle with the card that they're talking about, pointing to the rule that it's relevant to. But no, we did struggle to make sense of the rule book, but there you go. So the final thing that we don't like about Subatomic is that the game speeds up far too quickly towards the end. The fact that the elements don't become more expensive as the game progresses, but your hand becomes more powerful. We found that at the beginning of the game it was a struggle to get anything done because all you got is those crappy little quiet cards. But as you get more powerful cards into your deck, you're just claiming those element cards left, right and centre, and bang, the game is done. So to summarise, is Subatomic worth your time and bother today and in the future? So we're going to say probably, maybe. It all depends what you want from a game like this. It is just a generic deck builder at the end of the day. We've seen all of this stuff before in Dominion, Marvel Legendary and countless other games. It's clear the designers put a hell of a lot of work into this. They've done their background research, they've got the game vetted and play tested by people with letters after their names, right? But as we said, this game suffers from clone syndrome. So if you're after a generic deck builder with a unique theme, you will find a lot of fun in this one. So yeah, we do recommend Subatomic if you haven't played any deck builders and you've got kids that are a bit interested in science. So we're going to give Subatomic 3 out of 5. We do enjoy this one under certain circumstances. So there you go, that's Subatomic. Remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below. We'll see you next time.